John, I am incredibly excited about today's topic. Not that I haven't been about what we've been doing. We've been talking about who, not how, gaining the gap. 10x is easier than 2x. We're going to stay down that path. It's changing our business. It's changing our mindsets. It's incredible. You guys, as we dig deeper, you're going to love it. But some things are happening in the market, and so it's time to talk. In addition to who, not how, a little bit about. I mean, we just got the truth. We got a red pill, gang. And we're going to talk about creating a real legacy. And I'm sure you have felt like there must be a way, but there isn't a clear path. I don't know what any individual out there is thinking. I know what we thought, and I know the journey we've been on. But it's just time. The market's tough for people. Market's down 30, 40, 50%. Interest rates, inflation, inventory. People are hurting. We know it. And it's time that somebody step up and create some game-changing innovations. Now, we've already been doing that, and we'll talk a little bit about that at the end, but they're just taking it to another level. And everything this company is doing is to make the agents' lives better. And, that sounds cliche. It's just been our 2.5-year experience that around every corner, they do it again and again and again. John and I often ask, can it get any better? And then it does. Now, the timing of this came out, these things today, we're going to introduce some things to you today. We're not going to get into a lot of detail. We're going to introduce some things. We want to just kind of pique your curiosity, and we're going to go into each one of them then in detail in a subsequent video. But there's a reason. We are actively looking for collaborative partners. If what we share with you today resonates with you, if the thought of building an income-generating asset that becomes a part of your estate and therefore your legacy resonates with you, then reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. It's just exploratory. Because see, here's the thing. We're not interested in talking anybody into anything. Our commitment is just to share. Each of you individually, I hope, will do a objective analysis of everything that we have to share. And when you do that, it's something that you just can't look past. And we know that. And for like-minded people, heck, we're the fastest growing company in the country. They're flocking to us. So that's all we're trying to do is identify like-minded people. And for them, this information will open up your mind to newer and bigger possibilities. And as we find those like-minded people and they become collaborative partners, we're going to help them achieve their ultimate purpose, fund their ideal lifestyle. So if now isn't the time, if this doesn't resonate with you now, no hard feelings. Maybe things will change. Now, by now, John and I have had hundreds and hundreds of conversations with realtors and average Americans in good times and in bad times. The first question we ask on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how important is financial freedom to you? And everybody says what, John?
10.
Everybody wants freedom. Some say 11, even 1,000. Then I ask, well, when do you want it? The most common answer is yesterday. I ask for a little bit of time and they say, okay, tomorrow. People are starving to get ahead and to win. They want freedom. And I know you want freedom. The problem is nobody can afford to save and invest their way to the level of freedom, to the assets, to the numbers that they need and the time frame that they want it. And nobody has an idea how to do it. So we introduced something called wealth equivalence. We want to help you create passive income from an income producing asset that pays you enough money on a monthly basis to fund your ideal lifestyle. That's the equivalence of having the necessary capital in the bank where you can live off the interest. 100 years ago, people owned their means of income. 90% of us did anyway. Today, 90% of us work for somebody else. Folks, that doesn't work. That's like playing the lottery for financial freedom. The odds are probably about equivalent. You've got to build a self-managing business. Because there's no capital for payroll and startup cost, you need to find one with a low barrier of entry from a capital perspective. You've got to leverage people on the right-hand side of the quadrant, but again, you don't have payroll, so you need to leverage independent contractors, and nobody's thinking about ways to do this. So I want you to think about, is it conceivable that with the right significant partners helping you, you could build a business that pays you the residual income necessary to fund your lifestyle faster than you could save millions of dollars? And so far, again, everybody has said, yeah, that sounds like it's probably more feasible. I could probably build a business in 3 to 5 years versus having to save for 20 or 25 or 30 years to achieve the same thing. So again, if any of this is resonating with you, reach out to us. We want to have a conversation with you. So in reference to game-changing innovations, John, it's come at an opportune time, and I'm just excited to begin. I mean, finally, I know we've been talking about good stuff. This is this is meats and potatoes, man. This is where the rubber meets the road. So let's get into introducing some of this stuff to them.
My pleasure. So I want to kick off with the real wallet. And I think probably the easiest way I could do this is to start with like high level, how our CEO introduced it to us. He basically just said, how many agents do you know could use more working capital for their business or could use some capital to help with the down loan? Every single agent raised their hand, right? So here's what we've introduced. Here's what we've introduced. Now, the real wallet is like all of your income sources in one place. So picture having like revenue share, your stocks, joint venture agreements, commission, all neatly organized and in the palm of your hand. And we're going to say that a couple of times today, palm of your hand. Now, you're ready for perks and benefits with credit and debit cards. Benefits that you can put towards perks and benefits that you can put towards reducing like your brokerage fees. Your wallet represents all of your hard work and growth coming live here very soon in the next month. And what is this based off of? Well, it's built off of your assets. So look at your past transactions, looking at what's in your pipeline for future deals, the revenue share that you accumulate every month, the equity that you've accumulated since you've been here, and your joint venture distributions.
So basically, the parts of your business as a realtor that you find valuable, Real has created an environment where they find value in it as well and are going to use that as a part of an underwriting process to extend credit to you, where there are also perks and benefits. And oh, by the way, you don't know JV distributions? We'll have to talk about that another time.
Yep. And again, using this system gives you the ability to earn points, which you can put towards brokerage fee and lowering costs to be here with us. So, my favorite question. One of my favorite questions we used to ask all the time. Do you know a retired real estate agent? And I'll pause for the chuckle because that's typically what we get. But Mark,
unfortunately, yeah,
it is unfortunate.
Yes, sir.
Do you know a retired real estate agent?
You know, we've asked that question hundreds of times, and I can count on one hand the few times that somebody has said yes. And when I dig a little deeper, peel back the onion, it's typically because of their partner's retirement or 401k or pension plan. So not really.
Well, someone should do something about that.
I agree wholeheartedly. You've also mentioned that some have gotten into real estate investing, which that's an income producing asset. So viable. So I just haven't heard it myself.
Yeah.
So we're calling all active agents. Guess what? Real retirement is here. Building again a income producing asset that behaves interestingly like a 401k or a pension plan, except you have the ownership in it. It's not like Social Security that goes away when you die, right? So picture retiring and still getting paid from active production. That is, you're paid residual profit on the self-managed asset that you build over the years with us. The residual income is willable, which means it can be willed. You can wish and determine where it goes to your estate, to your kids, to your grandkids. It's residual income that is a part of your estate and therefore your legacy and something you leave behind. That equity that you have in it is based on your time or tenure with us. So you're working, you're building. The time passes and you earn more and more equity in that asset as time goes by. So in order to make that real, and I'm using these words on purpose today, to make that real, they introduced what's called the Real Wealth Plan. Sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? Now, I mentioned JV partnerships earlier. When you see join for as low as 700, that's buying into a JV partnership with a title or a mortgage company where you then get dividends. But this is based on the fact that a good business plan tells you what you should do. It's not typically what gets done. Typically, you're looking at a linear plan. It's pushing for a small percentage amount of growth. And that's the hardest to achieve. It's usually market dependent and has you working harder and harder and harder because you're actively personally producing the income for, in essence, ever. Again, we don't know a retired real estate agent. So forget about for a minute what you're used to, the static business plan, and imagine one that's very dynamic and takes into, in all the moving parts, all of the pieces of your income and ties it all together towards long-term financial goals. It's going to track your progress effortlessly, again, in the palm of your hand, John. So we're going to say that over and over again. The systems are integrated and it all works together. It's just right here. We're going to show you some examples of that. But it's a wealth plan that encompasses all aspects of your income here with us because of the 9 different ways to create income with us. And it takes each one of them into account, and again, on a dynamic fashion. So you see it growing over time. And it's robust enough that you almost can't help but create what becomes generational wealth. And so it's robust because of the 9 multiple streams of income that make it up. You can see here, probably the biggest component is the residual profit in your business, the revenue share. And you can see here in this example of a plan, that is a cumulative income of $4.9 million over the years. That's what it grows to, as an example. So it's pretty robust, pretty exciting. Now, if we're going to talk about a plan and the income, the residual income is a part of that, the biggest part of it, they better give us a little bit more robust system to look at what our revenue share is. And they've called that insights. John, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. And what I love about, I mean, who's a data person? And if, right, how many people like to know their numbers? It's usually the number one question you get asked if you go into like coaching or you start working at a higher level. People are going to ask, well, what are your numbers? And that's probably the most powerful thing you can know, because your numbers, if you can track it, you can measure it, you can adjust it, or know if you're on track. So revenue share insights include a more in-depth dashboard that for the residual profits coming from your network, measurement and recognition, analytics and analysis. Again, just diving deeper into it and knowing your numbers, earnings, and then breakdowns based on what tier, the opportunity cost, one of the most motivating things, knowing like the FOMO, right? Knowing how much you missed out on, historical data, right? What we can track, we can adjust, the network data, and then finally, like an agent partner profile. This gives you information to like birthdays, anniversaries. Also gives you great ways to like recognize and cheerlead your team. So on the first page here, we've got the measurements and recognition badges. You'll see it says at the top, my badges. So as you progress, as you build and grow with the company, you earn more of these badges. So just a good pat on the back. And then also, if you notice, some of the circles aren't completely full. That is your progress towards them. So I don't know about you, but knowing how close I am to a goal motivates me, right? To go and strive and get that goal.
In
Then
fact, how
right
many
below,
badges do we have?
is it
There's 13. I think we have
six,
6.
six or
And we're
seven, I think.
targeting 2 because that circle's almost all the way around 2 more. So let's go get 2 more, right?
2 more before the end of the year. Um, might be hard. There's only a couple of weeks left, but we'll get there. And then below again, right? So just diving deeper into the analytics, the analysis, and we'll touch a little bit on each one of these sections here. So this is the earnings, and you can see like a monthly, again, historical data, and then the progression. It'll also show you, it's not circled, but in the top left-hand corner, you'll see a total amount, and then last month shows you your change. So you can actually see if you're trending upwards or trending downwards, plus the graph is pretty cool. That gray bar that you see above, if you look at September there on the left, a little gray section at the top, that's what you might have missed out on. So that motivates me. If you're the right person, it'll motivate you, right, to go out and go get more. And then you've got the total contributions. These are the breakdowns. You can break it down by day, week, month, year. It'll also go as far as to tell you how much is coming from each tier. Now, this is network data. So at a high level, how many agents do you have in each tier? And then where's each one, like how much revenue is coming from each one? And then this is diving deeper into the network, or sorry, the agent profiles. So again, broken down by tier, so you can see who's where. And then also, if you click on those, you can dive deeper into information on your agent. So for me, this gives us great insights into like who we're partnering with, information on them, like, such as like birthdays, anniversaries, great ways for us to recognize them, cheerlead our team, and help them keep winning.
Yeah, because if we've got the birthday data, things like that, anniversary data, all that could be in there.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna touch on this one too, and then probably kick it over to Mark here to wrap us up. But the One Real app, and we launched this as a consumer-facing app. So all the stuff that we've shared so far has been for us. This is our first product that's going to be going out to the consumers. And if you think about the transaction process at a high level, there's a lot of different components, and typically it's very bumpy.
Cumbersome.
Right, cumbersome, bumpy. There's a lot of moving pieces. The client has to interact with a lot of different people, right, to get through the transaction.
Well,
Well,
that's a key point. Interacting with a lot of different people, right,
yep.
throughout that
So
process.
One Real, the idea here is having that transaction process seamless, effortless, and all in one place. So with Real Title, Real Mortgage, us as the agents at the center of all of this, again, right? We can just share this app with our clients, and you'll see how robust this gets in a second, and diving deeper into the AI and how it guides them through the process. So let me ask you this: has one of your clients ever asked you a question, or two, or three, or 100? Well, we've had AI inside of our platform for a while, and we're able to ask it questions about our business, and it'll go grab the information and tell us what's going on. With the One Real app, we're extending that AI assistant to our clients. So now our client can ask these types of questions 24/7 on demand whenever they need an answer, and Leo will be there to answer the questions. Those questions could be: what is this document for? Who is my main point of contact? Which lender should I use? What is title insurance? Should I lock my rate? How many offers has my offer been accepted? What's going on with my loan? And when is my closing? So imagine, not saying you don't have to work again, right? Because I mean, we're still gonna have to work, but how much more? Oh, dude, sorry.
Well, I wonder how many of these questions do you field then you think, either that's an easy answer or it's just time, right? Time is valuable. And this might allow 100 questions to get asked and answered without you even knowing it.
Yep. Well, and how much more comfortable does your client feel having access to this information like that? So your client gets, and this is the experience that they would face or they would have coming into the app. So your client gets a personal welcome and then starts to guide them through the qualification process. Again, being guided to that pre-approval process, they'll start gathering information so that they can make a submission, approval received. All docs and communications are in the same place, right? One Real. That walk through setting up a search criteria and the entire process managed again in the palm of their hands. And here's the crazy part: you could have your client down on this app, they could do all of this on their own. And then you're getting updates as they're going through the app. And then all of a sudden, you get an update that says your client's pre approved. Here's the exact type of houses that they're looking for. Get out and show them the property. Streamlining your business, right? Talk about
And their experience.
and their experience, right? Imagine, like, well, yeah, so we have to keep going to imagine, but streamlining their business and the process. Now, this is cool. Fast Company gave us the Innovation by Design Award in 2023. We honored the Reason app and the proprietary, uh, honored the Reason app and Real's proprietary transaction management platform. All this is amazing. Changes the game for realtors as independent contractors. And we've already been doing all of this. So the culture, one of collaboration over competition, co-sponsoring, tightening bonds, and strengthening the way that we support agents that come into our ecosystem.
Right. So co-sponsoring is you and I could sponsor the same agent and both get a share of the revenue that gets generated. And now they've got both of us as mentors. Again, to your point, tightening the bonds and really taking collaboration to an exponential level.
Yep. Ability to create multiple streams of income. I think the average millionaire has 7. And then award-winning tech and systems. You just saw one of dude, I don't know how many awards we got last year, but you
Right.
just saw one of them right there.
So
So
listen,
Go ahead,
So
close it
yeah.
up. Close it up.
So these are, again, we want to just introduce these things. We're going to dive into each one of them in depth and in its own video, and really uh, get you into the belly of the beast, if you will. But just imagine, again, remember I said we are looking for collaborative partners. So just imagine an environment where an agent can build a self-managing business asset that produces residual profit. Self-managing, Google that, a self-managing business that produces residual profit, thus moving their lives from a place of a roller coaster ride in this career of real estate and actively producing income without owning the source of that income. They move themselves out of it. They've created a new space for themselves because of the innovations and opportunities that you have now objectively analyzed. And again, this isn't going to do it for you. I get it. If this resonates, we'll get more with you. But just imagine a world like that and come help us create it. Not for you or just for you, but for hundreds and if not thousands of agents that are already here, that are yet to be here. Again, it's innovative and it's changing the landscape of the marketplace. So hope this has intrigued you, created some curiosity. Reach out, let us know. John, you always like to say what in closing?
I mean, if you've been here this whole time, you don't hate us. So like the video, right? If you think that this information could benefit someone that you know, please share it with them. And if you want to stay up to date on these conversations, be the first one to be notified, subscribe. So then that way we can get the information as soon as it comes out.
Awesome. Thanks for checking us out.